Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Monday, January 26th, 2026.
1926 already. Wow.
I know, the year is already flying by. Hope everyone's is off to a really solid start. Today, we are turning our attention to a subject that I think for a very long time occupied this really strange space in our collective psyche. It was the thing you watched when you were homesick from work, or maybe the thing you'd put on in the background while you were folding laundry.
The guilty pleasure category, that's what we always called it.
The ultimate guilty pleasure, exactly.
Yeah.
But if we really look at where we are standing right now, here in early 2026, referring to reality TV as a guilty pleasure, it almost feels charmingly outdated.
Oh, completely. It's like calling film a novelty.
Right. We aren't talking about some niche sideshow anymore. We're talking about the dominant cultural engine of the last 2 decades. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem. It dictates fashion trends, it changes our language, it launches business empires, and it has fundamentally altered how we understand and, I guess, perform human interaction.
It really is the water cooler of the 21st century. And I'd even argue that if you aren't paying attention to the mechanics of reality TV, how it's cast, how it's produced, how it's marketed, you are missing a massive piece of the puzzle about how modern media literacy even works.
That's a great point.
It's not just people throwing wine at each other in a hot tub anymore. It's a reflection of our values, our economy, and I think our deep, deep obsession with fame.
That is exactly the energy we are bringing to this today. We are doing a comprehensive State of the Union on reality television. We have a mountain of sources to get through. I'm really excited. We've got historical rankings and some really sharp analytics from Collider on what makes a show perfect. We've got breakdowns of the new Bravo lineup from Parade, some really fascinating deep dives into the sociology of the nepo baby from WHO.
Which is a whole phenomenon in itself.
A huge phenomenon.
Yeah.
And then we have exclusive reports from both people and the viewer's perspective, looking at the absolute onslaught of content that Netflix is planning to drop on us this year.
The landscape is shifting under our feet as we speak. I mean, we are moving from what I'd call the golden age of discovery, which is, where you found a regular person, a Snooki, and you made them a star, into a new, what I'd call dynastic age.
The dynastic age. I love that. So we've got 3 acts for you today. First, we're going to dissect the anatomy of a perfect reality show. What separates the shows that last for 20 years from the ones that, just crash and burn after a season or 2?
Yeah.
Second, we are looking at that very dynastic shift you mentioned, the rise of the nepo baby show. And we're going to focus specifically on Bravo's new tentpole, Next Gen NYC. And finally, we will map out the future. We're going to look at the 2026 streaming wars, and specifically how Netflix is weaponizing algorithms and high-concept experiments to try and corner the market.
It's a fascinating battle, really. It's curated legacy versus mass-produced virality.
That's a perfect way to put it. So let's jump in. Let's start with the history books. We pulled this incredibly detailed analysis from Collider that ranked shows they consider almost perfect. But before we even list the shows, I'll drill down into their criteria for that.
Okay.
Because they have a very specific and I think very smart argument about what makes a show work. And it all revolves around this concept of the authenticity trap. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, this is really the core tension of the entire genre, I think. The authenticity trap is what happens when the subject of the reality show, the star, becomes more interested in being a producer of their own life than they are in actually living it.
So they stop being a person on camera and they start being a PR manager for themselves.
Precisely. In the early days of a truly great show, the cast is usually, a little bit hungry, maybe a bit naive, or they're just naturally chaotic. They forget the cameras are even there.
Yeah, that's the magic.
That's the magic. But over time, they learn the game. They start self-producing. They begin to hide the messy, unflattering parts of their lives. Or worse, they start to manufacture fake storylines that they think will make them look good or make their castmates look bad.
And the audience can feel that immediately.
The moment the audience senses that a cast member is curating their image rather than exposing their reality, that bond is broken. The fourth wall isn't just broken, it's completely shattered. The whole enterprise falls apart.
And the sources point to the Kardashians as probably the most high-profile casualty of this very trap.
Oh, it's the classic trajectory. I mean, if you go back and watch the early seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on E! It was chaos. It was messy.
Totally.
Kim was organizing closets for Paris Hilton. They were having these huge raw fights over Bentleys in a way that felt completely unvarnished. But the main criticism of the recent Hulu reboot is that it has essentially become a televised press release for their brands.
It feels so sanitized now.
Completely sanitized. The sisters became billionaires, and with that level of wealth and fame came this fierce, understandable protection of the brand. They stopped showing any real conflict.
Right.
Instead, you'd get entire episodes that just felt like a behind-the-scenes infomercial for a new Sinks drop, or a Kylie lip kit, or a fashion show. The source makes a great point that if you follow them on Instagram, the show becomes totally redundant.
You've already seen the plot.
You saw the plot 3 months ago in an Instagram story. There's no risk anymore, and without that risk, there's no must-watch factor. You can just skip it.
So that's the error of being too boring or too curated. But then there's the other side of that coin, which is the error of active manipulation. And for that, I mean, we have to talk about the Scandival.
Tom Sandoval,
Yeah.
Vanderpump Rules. This is now the textbook example of self-producing, blowing up in someone's face in the most spectacular way possible.
I mean, for the one or two listeners who might have been, I don't know, living on Mars during that whole cultural moment, you had Tom Sandoval, a veteran of the show, who was trying to craft a very specific narrative on camera. He wanted to break up with his long-term partner, Ariana Madix. So he spent months on camera planting these little seeds, complaining about her, acting like the victim, trying to paint her as this unsupportive bad girlfriend.
He was trying to pre-spin the breakup. He wanted to secure the good guy edit before the breakup even happened. But what he was hiding, what the cameras didn't know, was that he was having a month-long affair with one of their closest friends, Rachel Leviss.
And when that truth came out, it wasn't just a scandal because of the cheating. That's not what made it so huge.
No, and that's the absolute key. Infidelity happens on reality TV all the time. It's practically a genre staple. The reason Scandival became a global phenomenon, I mean, CNN was covering it, the White House Correspondents' Dinner was making jokes about it.
Is everywhere.
It was because the audience suddenly realized they had been watching a magic trick. They realized Sandoval had been actively, consciously trying to gaslight not just Ariana, but the camera crew, the producers, and the entire audience.
We felt duped.
Yes. The audience revolted because the reality was a total fabrication. And the Collier analysis makes this point beautifully. Perfection in the genre requires a willingness from the cast to let the mask slip. If you try to control the narrative too tightly, you don't just fail, you become the villain of the medium itself.
That's fascinating. Okay, so if those are the cautionary tales, let's flip it and look at the Hall of Fame. Who actually navigated this minefield successfully over the years? The first one on the list might shock people who haven't checked in since, like, 2009. Jersey Shore.
I know, right? You hear Jersey Shore, you think gym, tan, laundry, you think bar fights and hair gel. But Jersey Shore is cited as a perfect show because of its incredible longevity and its ability to evolve.
That's the key of the evolution.
It is. The cast, Snooki, Pauly D, Mike, the situation, they didn't try to stay 21 forever.
Thank God. That would have been so tragic.
It would have been unwatchable. Instead, they pivoted the entire concept to Jersey Shore. Family vacation. They allowed the cameras to capture their maturation. We watched Mike go through a very public, very serious addiction battle, then prison, then recovery, and becoming a father.
We watched Snooki become a mother and deal with all the anxieties and changes that come with that.
And that created a completely different and I think deeper kind of bond with the audience.
That's a parasocial friendship.
That's the term. We feel like we grew up with them. The show works for two reasons. One, their friendship is genuinely real. You can tell they actually love each other. And two, because they were brave enough to show the transition from party animal to suburban parent. That honesty, that vulnerability is what kept the show not just alive, but thriving for decades.
So that's longevity through personal growth. Another show that the source highlights for its perfection, but for a totally different reason, is Married to Medicine.
Ah, yes. This is a personal favorite of mine in the analysis because it completely flips the script on what we think makes for good reality TV.
How so?
Well, usually producers are just desperate for table flips and wine tosses. They want chaos. They engineer conflict. Married to Medicine is anchored by actual doctors. You have Dr. Jackie Walters, Dr. Simone Whitmore. These are highly educated, professional women.
And the source describes their core relationship as the calm, nurturing center of the show, which feels like the opposite of what what you'd want.
It feels like it, but it's not. It's so rare and so valuable. The show proves that you can have a massive hit based on conflict resolution rather than just conflict creation. We watch them have these huge dramatic fallouts, but then we watch them sit down and use emotional intelligence and communication to actually fix it.
Which you never see on, say, a housewife show.
Almost never. It models adult friendship in a way that is so refreshing. It gives the show this incredible textural depth. You believe the stakes of the fights because you believe the love between them is real.
Okay, but we can't pretend we don't also love a villain. Sometimes you just need a bad guy.
Oh, absolutely.
And the sources point to a relative newcomer, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, as hitting near perfection right out of the gate in its first season, specifically because of its villain dynamics.
The villain necessity. Every great story needs an antagonist, but the analysis here from Collider is brilliant. The best, most compelling reality TV villains are the ones who don't know they're the villain.
We are talking about Whitney Leavitt here, right?
Whitney Leavitt. She is a fascinating case study in reality TV psychology. She came onto the show clearly 100% thinking she was the hero. She thought she was the moral compass, the truth teller who was going to hold everyone accountable, especially the show's catalyst, Taylor Frankie Paul.
But that's not how it played out for the audience at all.
Not even close. Her tactics, isolating herself, creating these secret side chat groups, trying to weaponize information against Taylor, it all backfired spectacularly. But because she lacked that self-awareness, she just kept digging the hole deeper and deeper.
And that's what makes it so watchable.
It's everything. If she'd come in twirling a mustache and acting evil on purpose, it would have been campy and fake. But because she truly believed she was righteous, her behavior was just mesmerizingly authentic in its delusion.
It's that delusion that makes it reality TV gold. Now, we do have to touch on the dark cloud caveat in these rankings. A show that was almost perfect, Shaws of Sunset. For a long time, this was absolutely top-tier television.
It was incredible. It gave us this window into the Persian-American experience in LA that we had never seen on television before. It was loud, it was gold-plated, it was hilarious, it was full of heart. You had the sibling-like bickering of Reza and MJ. You had Gigi's wild transformation.
But the analysis says it was ruined. What happened?
It was ruined by the authenticity gap becoming not just a lie, but something criminal. And we have to talk about Mike Shute. For years on the show, Mike's storyline was, I'm a reformed playboy, I'm ready to settle down, I'm a family man.
He was selling that redemption arc so hard.
Constantly. But off camera, the reality was incredibly dark. He was facing very serious domestic violence charges involving his fiancée. And when the gap between the fun, harmless guy character on TV and the abusive reality off camera becomes that wide, the entire show collapses under the weight of it.
You just can't watch it the same way.
You can't. You can't watch him joke around at a dinner party when you know the police report exists. It stops being entertainment and it starts feeling like you're watching a cover-up. That ethical breach, that darkness, it just killed the show's spirit.
It's such a stark reminder that these are real people with very real and sometimes very dark consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on a much lighter note, let's talk about a category the source calls workplace voyeurism. And they hold up Below Deck as a structural masterpiece.
Below Deck is an algorithm in human form. It is the perfect reality TV format. It's almost lab designed for drama. You have a contained environment, the boat, that you physically cannot leave.
Right.
You have a rigid workplace hierarchy captain, bosun, chief stew. And you have a constantly rotating cast of young, attractive people who work incredibly hard and party even harder, all while sleeping in bunk beds the size of a coffin.
The source has a great line about this. It says, the Venn diagram of people who want to be yachties and people who want to be on TV is a circle.
It's a flat circle. It's perfect. And the stakes are real. That's why it works so well. If you get too drunk on Real Housewives, you get a hangover and a mean tweet. If you get too drunk on Below Deck and endanger the charter guests, you get fired on the spot and left on the dock in Italy.
That real-world employment tension is so universally relatable, even if the setting is a $100 million mega yacht.
Exactly.
And Selling Sunset applies that same workplace logic, but to the world of high-end LA real estate.
Yes, with a heavy dose of what the source calls luxury voyeurism. We tune in for the houses, we stay for the drama. But it's interesting to notice the evolution the source points out, especially with a character like Chriselle Staus.
Yeah, talk about that.
She started the show as the soap opera good girl, the sweet victim who was always being wronged. But in the more recent seasons, she has developed fangs. She learned how to survive in that shark tank. She became a player.
And then you have the new villain, Brett Tiesi.
Bray is a fascinating example of the modern, very savvy reality star. The source mentions her orchestrating and facilitating rumors about her co-star Chelsea's husband. Now, that felt like a calculated, almost producer-driven move to secure screen time and drive the plot.
Right.
It's effective, it creates the drama the show needs, but it dances right on the edge of that authenticity trap we talked about at the beginning. It feels like a soap opera because they are consciously treating it like one.
And finally, the analysis has to give credit where credit is due. Yeah. The gold standard, at least in its original run, keeping up with the Kardashians.
Despite all the criticism of the reboot, you can't deny the impact of the original. It absolutely broke the mold. It launched a family dynasty that fundamentally changed pop culture, beauty standards, and business. For a time, it was perfect reality TV.
So we've established the history. We know what works: vulnerability, real friendship, high stakes, and a healthy dose of delusion. But now we have to look at the present. Because according to our sources from Parade and WHO, the era of finding regular people and making them famous, it's basically dead. We are now officially in the dynastic age.
We've reached a point of saturation. The industry has been around for over 20 years. We are now watching the children of the original reality stars grow up and essentially take over the family business. It's legacy admissions for fame.
Let's break down the flagship of this new movement, Bravo's huge bet, Next Gen NYC.
This show is such a fascinating sociological experiment. The premise is, on the surface, very simple. Take a group of 20-somethings who are all raised in the harsh spotlight of reality TV, put them all in Manhattan, and see if they can function as adults.
But the casting, it's practically a genealogy chart of Bravo history. Let's go through the roster. First up, you have Ariana Bierman.
Daughter of Kim Zolciak Bierman from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We literally saw her grow up on camera as a little kid. Now she's moving to NYC to launch her own streetwear line.
And her whole narrative arc is already built in.
It's prepackaged. The narrative they are building for her is Southern loyalty versus big city ambition. Can the sweet girl from Atlanta handle the cutthroat world of New York?
And she's not alone. She brought her high school sweetheart with her, Hudson McElroy.
Which is a very smart casting move by the producers. Hudson is from a wealthy family. He's kind of self-made in his own right. But he's the anchor to her past. He's her Atlanta life.
The tension is obvious.
It's baked in. Can a high school romance survive the nightlife and pressures of New York City when you're both young and famous? It's a super relatable trope, just wrapped in the gloss of celebrity.
Okay, then you have the perfect foil to Ariana, Riley Burris.
Condi Burris's daughter, also from Atlanta. The source describes her perfectly as the reluctant heir. She's an NYU grad. She's very level-headed, very serious, a world away from Ariana's vibe.
And her conflict is so specific and, honestly, incredibly privileged.
It's the ultimate 1% anxiety. She has a deadline from her mom, Condi. Find a passion in a creative field, like music or TV, very quickly. Or she has to go to law school.
Find a passion or become a lawyer. The struggle is real.
But it provides a great, more grounded contrast to the other kids who are just launching fashion lines and going to clubs. It gives the show a different texture.
And then, the crown jewel. The person who bridges the old world of reality TV with the new, Gia Gigi.
This is the casting coup. Gia is Jersey royalty. If you watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey from the beginning, you have this visceral, emotional memory of Gia.
Oh, yeah.
You remember her crying when her dad, Joe Giudice, was being sent to prison. You remember the waking up in the morning song she sang about the family drama, which then, a decade later, went viral on TikTok.
She has what the media experts call parasocial equity. We're already invested.
Exactly. We feel like we helped raise her through the TV screen. We're invested in her success in a way we just wouldn't be for a total stranger. And her storyline is perfect, balancing that fierce, table-flipping family loyalty she learned from her mother, Teresa, with her own professional ambitions in Manhattan. She's the glue holding the whole concept together.
But it's not just housewife kids, which I think is important. The show also features what the source calls the socialites. Let's start with Ava Dash.
Daughter of Damon Dash and Rachel Roy. Now that is hip-hop and fashion royalty combined. She brings a completely different energy, the it girl factor. She's not just a reality TV kid. She's a legitimate pop culture legacy. She has a built-in coolness factor.
And Charlie Zakor.
He's the wealthy connector. He's not an nepo baby in the traditional entertainment sense, but he's a crypto investor who has apparently been ruling the New York club scene since he was 14 years old.
Since he was 14. That is
Yeah.
terrifying.
It's terrifying, but every show like this needs that guy. You know, the guy who knows the doorman, who can get the table, who knows all the secrets and connect to the different social circles. He's the social lubricant for the cast.
They also have Emerald Despain.
Right, the content creator and beauty director. She's a transplant from Dallas and Dubai, so she brings in an outsider's perspective, which is always useful for a show like this. She can ask the dumb questions the audience is thinking.
The WHO article makes a crucial point here, though. This isn't just a Bravo phenomenon. This is a much broader cultural shift toward a celebrity aristocracy. We're seeing the children of actual A-list Hollywood celebrities entering this reality and reality-adjacent space.
It's becoming a closed loop. We're seeing this total merger between Hollywood and reality TV, and it's happening via the next generation. The source mentions Rowan Henshey, that's Brooke Shields' daughter, was spotted filming scenes for Next Gen NYC. Then you have Liam Gallagher from Oasis's son. He's a musician and a model. You have Nico Parker, Thandie Newton's daughter, who was incredible in The Last of Us and is in the new How to Train Your Dragon.
Even Jack White's daughter, Scarlett White,
who became a viral TikTok star and is now modeling. Or Romy Mars, Sofia Coppola's daughter, who went viral for those hilarious TikToks and is now acting. It signals that fame is now being treated like an inherited trait, like blue eyes or height.
That's a great way to put it.
In the past, reality TV was the great equalizer. In theory, anyone could be the next Snooki. Now, reality TV is becoming the modern debutante ball, where the children of the elite are officially presented to the market.
It really begs the question, is this good TV? Or is it just nepotism with a production budget?
Well, that brings us right back to the authenticity paradox again, doesn't it? These kids are media trained from birth. They grew up with ring lights in their living rooms. They know their angles. They know what gets you clicks, and they know what gets you canceled.
So the question is, can they ever be truly messy? Can they be genuinely vulnerable? Or are we just going to get a very polished, very safe, brand-managed version of reality?
That's the billion-dollar question for Bravo.
And while Bravo is betting the farm on these legacy families, on these dynasties, Netflix is taking a completely different, almost opposite approach.
Yeah, if Bravo is building a boutique, Netflix is building a Costco. It's the big box store model. They are betting on massive volume, on algorithms, and on high-concept gimmicks.
Let's look at their 2026 slate, because the reports from people and the viewer's perspective, they paint a wild picture. They're actively marketing this as a reality universe.
They are. They're doing those summer break immersive takeovers at the Santa Monica Pier. They want you to feel like you live inside the Netflix app. They're trying to build a world.
So let's run through some of these new shows. First up, one that already dropped at the end of last year, Simon Cowell, The Next Act.
This is a really meta and smart move. We've seen Simon Cowell make bands a million times One Direction, Fifth Harmony, but those were glossy stage shows, the X Factor.
Right.
This is a docuseries that tracks the business of trying to build a global boy band in 2026. It's about the machine itself.
So we get to see the failures and the messy parts.
Exactly. We see the awkward casting calls, the strategy meetings, the raw business side of it. It's less about the perfect, polished singing and more about the manufacturing of fame. It appeals to a more cynical, media-savvy audience that knows the industry is a machine and wants to see how the gears actually turn.
Okay, then there's Let's Marry Harry.
Harry Jowsey. The man is inevitable. He's the mascot of the Netflix reality universe. He started on Too Hot to Handle. He's been on everything since.
So what is the premise here? What's the gimmick?
The hook is that Harry is finally done playing the field. So he is handing total control of his love life over to a committee of his confidants. And the committee includes people like Alex Cooper from the Call Her Daddy podcast.
A dating committee.
A dating committee. They choose who he dates. They decide who stays, who goes. It's fascinating psychology because it's a tacit admission that modern dating, swiping on apps, ghosting is broken.
It's an interesting social commentary.
It is. It's a return to a kind of arranged marriage system. But instead of the village elders making the match, you have influencers and podcasters doing it.
It definitely validates the fatigue that I think everybody feels with dating apps right now.
Totally.
Speaking of dating experiments, let's talk about Age of Attraction.
This one feels like it was conceived and written by an AI. It's hosted by Nick Viall. You have a group of singles whose ages range from 22 all the way up to 59.
Wow.
And they date each other without knowing anyone's age.
That is a massive gap, 22 to 59.
It's huge. It's pushing that love is blind variable testing to its absolute limit. Can you remove one key piece of context, in this case chronological context, and see if a genuine connection holds? It's a show that is built for viral moments.
Oh, absolutely. The big reveal.
You know the reveal is going to be spectacularly cringe-inducing. The moment a 23-year-old realizes they've been flirting with someone who could literally be their grandparent, that clip will be everywhere online. It's engineered for virality.
It's cringe engagement. And Netflix is also coming for Bravo's new territory directly with a show called Calabasas Confidential.
This is a direct shot across the bow at Next Gen NYC. The pitch is literally The Hills meets the OC. It's about a group of high school friends and rivals who are all returning to their hometown mansions in Calabasas after graduating from college.
Returning to their hometown mansions. So relatable.
It just confirms that wealthy youth drama is the big trend for 2026. Netflix sees Bravo doing it with legacy stars, and they say, we can do that, but glossier, with better lighting, and with people we cast ourselves.
And finally, the one that sounds the most intense to me. Love con revenge.
This is the dark horse of the slate, I think. It stars Cecily Strelhu, who was one of the main victims in the Tinder swindler documentary.
So she's flipping the script on her own story.
She's completely flipping it. She's teaming up with a private investigator to actively hunt down romance scammers. It moves the genre from victimhood to vengeance. It's true crime meets reality TV, and it satisfies that deep primal desire for justice that you rarely get from these stories.
It's a really smart concept. But Netflix isn't just launching new stuff, right? They are also renewing the heavy hitters.
Oh, they know where their bread is buttered. They're not abandoning the hits. They've renewed The Ultimatum for a 4th season, King of Collectibles for a 3rd, which is this quiet, surprisingly popular show selling Sunset for a 9th season, and of course, Love is Blind for a 9th season.
Wow, 9 seasons.
And of course, the big one, Squid Game. The challenge is coming back for season 2.
Which proves that high-stakes competition is still a massive pillar for them alongside the dating and lifestyle stuff.
It's a 3-pronged attack: dating experiments, lifestyle voyeurism, and big-budget competitions.
Okay, so let's bring this all together now. Segment 4, the synthesis. We have these two very different models actively competing for our attention and our subscription dollars.
We really do. On one side, you have the Bravo model. This is all about emotional investment and long-term storytelling. They build stars over a decade. They want you to care about Gia Giudice because you've known her. On some level, for 15 years, it's a relationship business, it's slow burn.
And on the other side, you have the Netflix model.
I'd call it the carnival model. Bright lights, high concepts, constantly rotating casts. You watch Age of Attraction for the weird gimmick, not because you care about the specific people. At least not yet.
But, and this is a key point you made earlier, Netflix is trying to build its own stable of stars.
They are. They're trying to have it both ways. They keep reusing Harry Jazzy. They keep promoting Chriselle Staus and the Selling Sunset cast. They are actively trying to build a Netflix reality universe where their talent is interchangeable across different shows. They want their own Gia Giudice.
But both of these models, whether it's the legacy model or the gimmick model, they both run headfirst into that same problem we started this entire conversation with. The authenticity paradox.
It always comes back to that. It's the genre's original sin.
So, can a show like Next Gen NYC ever feel truly real when the entire cast is so protected and so deeply media savvy? Can a show like Let's Marry Harry feel authentic when it's so clearly a production stunt designed for clicks?
That is the core struggle of this reality TV renaissance. The audience today is so much smarter than we were in 2005. We know what an edit is. We know what a Frank bite is. We can spot a producer-fed line from a mile away. So finding those moments of genuine, unscripted humanity, the mask slipping, is getting exponentially harder for producers to capture.
The producers have to work twice as hard to trick us, and the stars have to work twice as hard to protect their brand.
It's a full-blown arms race between production and talent with the audience as the judge.
It really makes you wonder about the future of the genre. I mean, with these nepo baby shows specifically, are we actually watching reality anymore? Or are we just watching the entertainment industry's internal HR department onboarding its new employees?
I think that is exactly what we are watching. It's a televised job interview for the next generation of fame. And we, the viewers, are the hiring committee. That is a terrifying and brilliant thought to leave you with. We are the hiring committee. Keep watching, keep questioning, and stay tuned.
See you next time.